Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Andrea DTV. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to do this makeup look that I'm currently wearing. It's not a very extravagant makeup look, but it's actually just a full coverage makeup routine for people with mild to moderate acne and scarring. This is just a routine that I do every day before I go to work, before I film and stuff like that. It takes about like 7 to 10 minutes to do. And if you don't know a lot of stuff about makeup, this routine is ideal for people who don't have a lot of time in the morning or who don't know a lot of stuff about makeup or people who just aren't very good at makeup and stuff. This is a routine that anybody can do really easy, really quick. So if you're interested to see a full coverage routine for covering up mild to moderate acne and scarring quickly, easily, with no makeup skills needed, stay tuned. So as you can see, I do have quite a bit of scarring and acne and stuff, like hormonal breakouts over my face, so I'm going to show you how to cover that up. The first thing that you want to do before you put on any makeup is you want to cleanse your skin and moisturize your skin. So I've already cleansed my skin with the Clarisonic Mia 2 and just the simple foaming cleanser, and then I moisturized with the simple replenishing rich moisturizer. If you have any spots or breakouts, you can use an acne spot treatment. So I used the Neutrogena Rapid Clear Acne Eliminating Spot Gel. I just let all of that stuff sink into my skin for a good 20 to 30 minutes before I start applying any makeup. The first thing that you want to do is put your hair back. So I always put mine in a headband and also a ponytail. If you have long hair, it's just easier to get it all out of the way, or else you're going to get makeup in your hair and stuff. And then you want to use a primer. So I like to use sprays rather than gels. So I use the NYX First Base Primer Spray, and I'm just going to spray that all over my face and let it sink into the skin for a few minutes before I start applying any makeup. While I'm letting that sink into my skin, I'll tell you more about what a primer is used for. You don't have to use a primer, but it's good to use a primer, especially if you have dry skin or maybe combination skin, because a primer just helps your makeup last longer. It helps it go on a little bit better, and most of them come in gels. They do also have pore filling ones that are more skin tone colored, but I like to use a spray instead of a gel because I just don't like the feeling and the texture of the gels. And I've never really found them to work super well for me, so I like the NYX spray better. Once the primer has been set into your skin, then you can start applying makeup. The foundation that I'm going to use is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade 1N1, which is Natural Ivory. You can use a brush or a beauty blender, etc. to blend it into the face, but I'm going to actually use my hands because that is actually going to give you a more full coverage than by using a brush or especially a beauty blender, because they absorb more of the product. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a shake to get some more of the product out, and then just pour a little bit into my hands and apply it all over my face, my neck, my ears, etc. I usually pour just about that much, not too much, and then just start applying all over the face. And I do all over my lips and stuff because it just makes it easier to get in between all those areas. And when you're applying this, you want to also get on your ears, especially as you can see, this is a totally different color than my actual skin tone. This is the lightest shade that they have, and it's still too yellow for me. Especially if you're trying to match, if you're tanned and stuff, if you fake tan, you want to make sure that you really blend everywhere, especially the neck. And you just want to make sure that you've blended into the little crevices, the eyelids as well, and around the nose area and around the hairline. It can be more difficult to get in those areas. Do the ears. After this, I'm going to go back in with a brush to buff around the edges, but it's good to use the hands first, obviously clean hands, because it actually does give you fuller coverage. I did try it with a brush once, and I noticed that hands really do give you more coverage, because the brushes and beauty blenders and stuff soak up more of the product. I realize that it look pretty weird right now because my face is all one color and my lips are tan and stuff, but I'm gonna use a makeup wipe to remove that. Then when I have makeup all over my hands, I just take a makeup wipe and wipe all the foundation off my hands. And I'll also wipe it off my lips, my eyebrows, and etc. Now I'm just gonna go back in with a brush. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and just buff around like the hairline, the nose, over the eyes, the ears, the neck, to make sure that there's no harsh lines or anything, that everything is blended. You also want to do the jawline as well. So I think everything is pretty blended, but as much full coverage as this foundation is, it's still usually never enough. As you can see, I have a lot of really bad acne and scarring and stuff like that. So we're gonna use a full coverage concealer to cover up those areas that need extra coverage on this side too. And then I have some breakouts, hormonal breakouts all over here. Just add some extra coverage to those areas. We're actually gonna use the same brush to do the concealer. At least that's what I do. I find it helpful to wet the brush first, and I also like to take excess foundation out of the brush. So I just kind of rub it in the makeup wipe just to kind of get rid of excess foundation. It's sort of like a quick clean rather than a deep clean. I deep clean my brushes at the end of the week, but this is sort of like a cheat clean, because I just feel gross using like old foundation on my face. And this also helps wet the brush as well. So the concealer that I'm gonna use is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Neutral. And that's a pretty good match for this color of foundation as well, if you're gonna use the same shades. I'm going to apply it under my eyes, like in this kind of shape. Concealer under the eyes can help brighten or cover like dark circles and stuff, and then I'm just gonna apply it, like dot it all over, because I really need it like all over to cover up that scarring. This has a doe foot applicator as well that makes it really easy on the chin as well. Makes it really easy to apply. And then of course I need it on my forehead. I've also applied it right there where I need it as well. If you need the brush to be more wet, then you can just spray it with something like this primer spray. So now I'm just gonna take this and buff. Or not like buff, but it's like a stippling motion where it's more like a bounce. You don't wanna like spread it around, because that's just it's not gonna give you as much coverage. So by stippling it, it's like buffing it into the skin without wasting as much product. This concealer is very full coverage, so it definitely does make a difference if you use it, if you need a little bit of extra coverage on spots and scarring and stuff like that. I just find that when the brush is wet, for some reason it helps. Like, I feel like it just makes a difference when I'm trying to get the concealer in. And then kind of one more time, just go around everything to make sure that the color is all blended. Once again, I like to take a makeup wipe and just kind of get excess product off, because it's gross. You can basically stop here if you want. This is literally all I do every single day for my makeup routine, because I just care about covering up the acne and the scarring and stuff. So if you want to add other makeup like eyeshadow, mascara, bronzer, blush, etc., you can definitely do that. I stay away from blush actually, because I have like a lot of scarring on my cheeks, as you saw and stuff, and so I feel like that just draws more attention to it, because it's adding like redness back in there. So if you have a lot of scarring and acne on your cheeks especially, I think I would stay away from blush. So if you want to add like color or like a glow back into the face, you can use bronzer around like the hairline and the cheekbones and the chin and stuff like that to add more dimension to the face. I find that when I used bronzer, like especially on my cheekbones, I think it just ended up disturbing the makeup, because I feel like it ended up taking some of the foundation off. I feel like it doesn't look that much different on me. So I don't bother usually with any other kind of makeup. Sometimes I'll do mascara, but other than that, I don't really bother with any other makeup. I stop here. Then I just set it all with a makeup setting spray. You can also use a setting powder if you like. If you have more oily skin, you could use a powder. I personally like to use a setting spray because I have like combination skin, so I find that when I use a powder, it just like settles into the dry patches and it looks cakey and stuff. So setting sprays are a better option if you've got drier skin. I use the Urban Decay. Right now I have the Urban Decay De-Slick setting spray, but I actually prefer the all-nighter one to this one. So I'm just gonna spray that all over my face. So now I'll show you more what it looks like up close. So as you can see, you can still, like if you look really up close, you can see that there's scarring there. And sometimes like this foundation, like you could see on my nose kind of how it seems to like settle into like the pores and the fine lines of the skin. I think that's just the texture of my, the texture of my skin isn't that super great to begin with, so that definitely makes a difference with how the foundation is going to apply. You can use like an exfoliant to get rid of like the dead skin cells and dry skin and stuff, which will definitely help, or you can use like a smoothing primer to smooth out the texture before you apply foundation. But like I think from far away you can't really tell that much. This is a makeup routine just like so that you can feel more confident going out if you've got like really bad acne and scarring and stuff. It just might make you feel a little bit less self-conscious about your acne. I also forgot to mention the reason why you'd want to use either a setting powder or a makeup setting spray is because it'll just help your makeup last longer throughout the day. So that is my quick and easy, beginner-friendly makeup, full coverage makeup routine for acne and scarring. I'm not really a makeup expert or anything, but this is just the routine that I've developed for myself that I do pretty much every day. I find that it works pretty well for me. I know that the products that I showed you were rather expensive than like drugstore products, but I definitely recommend investing in like higher end products because I really do think that the quality is so much better than drugstore. If you want to use drugstore equivalents, I would say that for foundation you could try like a Neutrogena one because it's meant for acne prone skin, and for a concealer you could use something like the Maybelline Fit Me. But I do recommend investing in like the higher quality products because I do think that they definitely make a difference with the amount of coverage that it gives you, and they last longer and stuff like that. So let me know down in the comments below if this video was helpful to you, and let me know if you try this routine out and how it works out for you. I really hope that this video was helpful for some of you. If you liked this video, feel free to subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video.